The memories flooded back the urgent transmission, the explosion that consumed her daughter's command vessel, the screams that echoed across space before silence fell. Kalara paused at the massive viewport that overlooked the capital city of the Draxian Empire, spires of crystal and metal reaching toward the 3 moons overhead. "Lady Queen," a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. "What is it?" Nara Kalara did not turn to face her aide. "The War Council awaits your decision on the human border world, Stell. Them I will arrive shortly." Kalara closed her inner eyelids, trying to center her thoughts. The humans would pay for taking her daughter. She would ensure every colony, every outpost, every ship bearing their markings would burn. Kalara made her way to the council chamber, her guards falling into step behind her. The massive doors swung open, revealing the circular table where her generals waited. My Queen General Zarax rose, all 4 of his arms pressed to his chest in salute. "Our forces stand, ready to strike the human outpost along the Geldarian Ridge. Their defenses are minimal. After our last assault." Kalara took her place at the head of the table, her throne elevated above the others. Vengeance would not bring Mara back, but it would ease the ache in her heart chambers. "Begin the attack at dawn," she ordered. "Leave no human alive." A thunderous sound echoed through the chamber, interrupting Zarax before he could respond. The alarm signaling an approaching vessel, one that was not authorized. "Empress. Urgent communication from the outer defense ring." The communications officer called. "An unidentified ship approaches it. Bears Draxian markings, but what? Speak clearly. It's broadcasting, Princess." "Mara's royal codes. Impossible," Kalara hissed, rising from her throne. "Those codes died with my daughter." "The ship requests emergency docking, claiming the princess lives." Kalara's heart chambers constricted painfully. Hope was dangerous, more dangerous than any human weapon. She had learned that lesson long ago, after losing Mara's father to the first human war yet. "Bring the ship in," she ordered. "Maximum security protocol. Prepare my royal guard." The docking bay hummed with tension. Rows of elite Draxian warriors stood at attention, their plasma spears charged and ready. Kalara waited on the raised platform, her ceremonial armor glinting under the harsh lights, her 4 hands resting on the hilts of her ancestral blades. The airlock cycled open with a hiss of escaping air. First emerged 2 Draxian warriors, bearing the insignia of the royal guard, their scales dulled by battle, their armor scorched and repaired with crude materials. But they stood tall with pride. Then came Mara. Kalara nearly staggered at the sight. Her daughter limped slightly. Her normally iridescent scales muted her elegant crest, damaged but alive, gloriously alive. One of her forearms was missing below the elbow, replaced with a mechanical prosthetic of unfamiliar design. Mother Mara called, her voice strong, despite her obvious exhaustion. "I have returned." Kalara stepped forward, her guards moving with her, but she stopped abruptly when another figure emerged from the airlock. "Human female." Kalara hissed instinctively, her warriors tensing. Raising their weapons, the human stood smaller than any Draxian. Her skin pale, her head crowned with long strands of golden brown hair, her face unmarked by scales or crests. She wore what appeared to be modified Draxian armor, cut to fit her strange form. Mother Mara called, stepping between her. "Mother and the human I bring, ally not enemy." The human female stepped forward, a hand raised in what Kalara recognized as a peaceful gesture from their species. "Stand down, Commander Rosalie Meadows of Earth Space Forces. My crew rescued Princess Mara from the wreckage after the battle." "Impossible," Kalara spat. "No human would save Draxian royalty." "Queen Kalara the human," Rosalie spoke with surprising confidence for one surrounded by enemies. "I understand your suspicion, but I believe our peoples have been manipulated into this war." Kalara looked to her daughter, seeking explanation. "She saved me," Mother Mara said simply. "When my ship was destroyed, when I should have died in the cold emptiness of space, she disobeyed her own commanders to rescue me and my surviving warriors." Kalara studied the human with narrowed eyes. "Take them both to the royal chambers, secure the human, but do not harm her. Yet I will hear this tale in private." In the royal chambers, Mara recounted her story, how her ship had been destroyed, how she had expected death in the cold void, how instead she had awakened aboard a human medical vessel. "They could have killed me, Mother, or worse, used me as hostage," Mara explained. "But Commander Meadows risked everything." She disobeyed. Direct orders to save me. The human Rosalie stood nearby, watched carefully by guards. She showed no fear. Only patience. They rescued 17 of my warriors as well. Mara continued those who survived. They treated our wounded alongside their own. Kalara studied the human with narrowed eyes. Why would you betray your own kind for Draxian enemies? Rosalie straightened her shoulders. My mission was reconnaissance. I was investigating unusual energy signatures near the colony when the battle began. Something about the attack pattern seemed wrong to our entire command structure. We detected anomalous signals moments before your daughter's forces arrived. Signals, Kalara questioned. Beacons, Empress Rosalie explained. Designed to draw both our forces to the same location. The same technology has appeared in 6 separate confrontations between our people. Mara leaned forward. Her remaining natural hands clenched. Mother, the commander believes a third party benefits from this war between humans and Draxians. Kalara hissed softly. The Vesperians, she whispered. Rosalie's eyes widened. You know of them. For generations, the Vesperians have sought to expand their territory. Kalara rose, pacing the chamber. Their resources dwindle, their population grows. They require new worlds both humans and Draxians protect. Mara touched her mechanical arm. This technology is Vesperian. They captured several of us after the battle experimented upon us. Commander Meadows led the rescue. A difficult choice for a human, Kalara observed. Rosalie shook her head. Not difficult at all. Empress War based on lies serves no one. I lost my sister in the first Draxian conflict. I have no desire to lose more people to a manufactured war. Kalara studied the small human female, seeing strength in her soft features, determination in her strange rounded eyes. Bring your evidence before my council, Commander Meadows, Kalara decreed. Let us see if humans and Draxians can find common ground against a true enemy. As Rosalie left with the guards, Mara stepped closer to her mother. Do you believe her? Mara asked. Kalara touched her daughter's face gently. I believe you live when I thought you dead. If a human made this miracle possible, I must at least hear her. Case Mara smiled, her crest brightening with emotion. She is different, mother. She sees beyond the hatred between our kinds. She dreams of peace. Kalara looked toward the door where the human had departed. Such dreams are dangerous. My daughter, but perhaps necessary. The war has cost us too much already. That night, as Kalara prepared for the council meeting, she gazed at the ancient murals depicting the first contact between Draxians and Vesperians. Centuries ago, the Vesperians had seemed allies offering technology and knowledge. Only later did the Draxians discover the price of such gifts. Now it seemed the Vesperians had found new pawns in their eternal game, and both humans and Draxians had played their parts perfectly. Kalara touched the memorial stone that honored Maris, father killed in the first human conflict. How much blood had been spilled for Vesperian gain? Perhaps it was time for the game to change. Now let me create. Part 2. The council chamber buzzed, with angry voices, Draxian leaders hissing and clicking in disbelief as Rosalie presented her findings. Data stolen from Vesperian laboratories, proof of their manipulation. Communications intercepted between Vesperian agents. Impossible, shrieked General Xerax, pounding the stone table with all 4 fists. I lost 2 clutches of offspring to human aggression. Rosalie stood her ground, unflinching before the massive Draxian general. And I lost my home colony to Draxian warships, General. Yet here I stand, seeking peace. Xerax lunged forward only to be restrained by guards, his crest flaring with rage. Enough, Kalara rose, silencing the chamber with a gesture. If we continue this war, we do. The Vesperians work for them. Commander Meadows risked everything to bring this truth to us. My daughter lives because of human mercy. Mara stepped forward, standing beside Rosalie. I have fought humans as enemies now. I would fight alongside them as allies. The evidence speaks clearly. Lady Empress Science Minister, Telak said, examining the data crystals Rosalie had provided. These energy signatures match known Vesperian technology. The communication codes are authentic, but humans cannot be trusted. Xerax hissed. They are cunning, deceitful. This could be an elaborate trap. Rosalie faced the general directly. I came here with minimal escort, General. I placed myself at your mercy. Why would I do this if my intentions were false? Kalara studied the gathered council members, seeing doubt and suspicion in some faces, careful consideration in others. "What do you propose, Commander Meadows?" she asked. "A truce," Empress Rosalie replied, "followed by a joint investigation into Vesperian activities along our shared border. If my suspicions are correct, they have been manipulating both our species for generations." Kalara turned to her intelligence minister. "Is it possible?" Minister Varric nodded, his aged crest barely rising. "The Vesperians have always played the long game, Empress. Their resources dwindle, their need for new territories grows. It would be logical to weaken potential opponents before striking." Mara joined. The conversation, the Vesperian facility where I was held, contained both Draxian and human captives' mother. They were experimenting on both species, testing our weaknesses. Silence fell across the chamber as the implications settled. "We require proof, beyond what the human has provided." General Zarak said, his voice calmer, though his crest remained flared. "We cannot risk our entire defense strategy on the word of one human commander." Rosalie nodded in agreement. "My ship remains in orbit, Empress. With your permission, we can establish a secure communication channel to my superiors. Share what we have discovered. Request additional intelligence." Kalara considered the request. While such communication could pose a security risk, refusing would demonstrate the very distrust they needed to overcome. Granted, she decided, but under supervision. Over the next days, human and Draxian intelligence officers worked side by side, analyzing data, comparing records of conflicts, examining battle sites. Where both species had suffered losses, patterns emerged, anomalous energy signatures detected before major battles. Communication disruptions that had prevented peaceful resolutions. Supply lines mysteriously compromised, forcing aggressive actions. The Royal Observatory, Kalara watched as Mara and Rosalie worked together, studying star maps identifying Vesperian movements along the borders. "My daughter seems to trust you," Commander Kalara said. Entering the chamber, Rosalie looked up from the holographic display. "Respect, Empress." Trust developed slowly between former enemies. Mara smiled, her crest brightening. When human ingenuity meets Draxian perseverance, much becomes possible. "Mother, look what we have discovered." The display shifted, showing clusters of energy signatures forming a pattern. "Vesperian scout vessels," Rosalie explained. "They have been mapping both human and Draxian defenses for months, each cluster preceding an incident that escalated tensions between our peoples. And here," Mara pointed, with her mechanical arm, "this shows unusual activity near the Tantus system." Tantus. Kalara moved closer. "Our most productive mining colony, and close to humanity's largest agricultural world." Rosalie added, "They could disrupt both our food supply and your resource chain in a single strike." Kalara studied the display with growing concern. The Vesperians were positioned to attack both species at their most vulnerable points. "We have received confirmation from Earth Command," Rosalie said after a moment. "My superior, Admiral Beatrice Hartwell, has reviewed our evidence. She requests a direct communication with you, Empressa." "Human Admiral wishes to speak with me," Kalara said, surprise evident in her voice. "Yes, Empress." Rosalie nodded. "Admiral Hartwell commands our Eastern Fleet. She has authorized me to offer a formal ceasefire while we investigate the Vesperian threat." Kalara considered the implications. Such communication between human and Draxian leadership would be unprecedented. Arrange it, she decided. The communication chamber had been prepared with both human and Draxian technology merged to create a secure channel. The holographic projector hummed to life, revealing the image of a human female, her skin darker than Rosalie's, her hair cut short against her head. She wore the formal uniform of Human Fleet Command, Empress Kalara. The human spoke, her voice transmitted across the vast distance between their worlds. "I am Admiral Beatrice Hartwell of the United Earth Defense Force." Queen Kalara stood tall, flanked by her royal guard. "I receive your communication. Admiral Commander Meadows has shared your evidence regarding Vesperian interference in our conflicts." The Admiral continued. "Our intelligence division has confirmed many of her findings. We have been played against each other." Empress Kalara nodded slowly. "The evidence seems conclusive." Admiral Hartwell leaned forward in her projected image. "I propose more than a ceasefire, Empress. I propose an alliance against our true enemy." "An alliance." Kalara repeated the word, feeling strange on her tongue. Generations of hatred could not be erased so easily. "Yes," the Admiral confirmed, "we have monitored increased Vesperian fleet movements. They appear to be massing for a significant operation. Our Analysts believe they plan to strike while our forces remain divided. Kalara looked to Mara and Rosalie standing side by side in the chamber. Once bitter enemies now working toward a common goal. What terms do you suggest for this alliance, Admiral? The terms were negotiated over days. Draxian pride clashing with human caution. Centuries of mistrust, slowly giving way to pragmatic necessity. Joint patrols along shared borders. Exchange of intelligence regarding Vesperian movements. Protocols for communication. To prevent misunderstandings in her private chambers, Kalara reviewed the proposed alliance document. Her advisors divided, some arguing for caution. Others seeing opportunity. You truly believe this can work? She asked Mara, who stood nearby, my daughter, touched her mechanical arm. The gift of human engineering and Vesperian technology. I am living proof that cooperation is possible. Mother. Kalara studied her daughter, seeing the wisdom that hardship had brought while I grieved. Believing you dead, you learned to see beyond our differences. Mara nodded. The universe is vast, Mother, too vast for needless enemies when we could have valuable allies. Now for Part 3, the first joint mission, launched 3 cycles after the alliance was formalized. A mixed crew of humans and Draxians aboard the scout vessel. Twilight Hunter, their mission to investigate a suspected Vesperian outpost in the neutral zone. Princess Mara stood on the command deck, her mechanical arm interfacing directly with the ship systems beside her. Commander Rosalie monitored communications, her smaller form dwarfed by the Draxian crew members. Yet her authority unquestioned. Approaching target coordinates, Mara announced. Switching the main viewer to forward scanners, the small moon appeared barren at first glance, its cratered surface revealing no signs of habitation. Answers detect no energy signatures, Lieutenant Pat Rogers reported from the science station, but there's significant interference, Empress. Something is blocking our deep scans. It's typical Vesperian shielding, Rosalie observed. They've gotten better at hiding their operations. Mara nodded to the Draxian security chief. Prepare a landing party, Chief Zorak. We need eyes on the surface. Zorak, a massive Draxian with battle-scarred scales, thumped his chest in acknowledgement. Selecting personnel for the mission, 4 Draxians. 2 humans, a balanced team, still an unusual sight. On the surface, the landing party moved cautiously across the barren landscape, their environmental suits protecting them from the moon's thin, toxic atmosphere. Zorak led the way, his natural Draxian night vision guiding them toward a ridge where sensors had detected anomalous readings. Lieutenant Rogers scanned the area with handheld equipment there. Something beneath that rock formation, a hidden entrance. The team approached, weapons ready. The seemingly natural rock formation revealed subtle signs of artificial construction upon closer inspection. Draxian Tech Specialist Rexa examined the hidden door interface Vesperian security protocols. She confirmed, her 4 hands working rapidly across the control surface, but with Draxian modifications. I can bypass this. The door slid open, silently revealing a tunnel leading deep into the moon's surface. Report your findings? Zorak instructed the team as they entered the facility. Maintain communication silence unless absolutely necessary aboard the Twilight Hunter. Mara and Rosalie monitored the landing. Party's life signs. I should be down there with them. Mara said, her crest flattening with concern. Rosalie smiled slightly. Your mother would have my head if I let her only daughter walk into a Vesperian trap. Besides, your skills are needed here. Suddenly, the landing party signals began to flicker. We're losing them. Mara exclaimed, her hands flying across the controls, attempting to boost the signal. Emergency extraction, Rosalie ordered. Prepare transporters before they could act the landing party's signals. Stabilized, and Chief Zorak's voice came through. Command, you're going to want to see this. The images transmitted from the landing party's cameras revealed a massive underground facility. Rows upon rows of stasis chambers containing both Draxian and human subjects in various states of experimentation. Vesperian scientists moving between the chambers recording databe. The ancestors, Mara whispered, her scales paling at the sight. This isn't just research. Rosalie realized, studying the facility layout. They're creating hybrid soldiers. Chief Zorak confirmed, we found training facilities, weapons development laboratories. They're building an army using our combined genetic material. Retrieve all data, Rosalie ordered, and plant charges we can't. Let this facility continue operating. As the landing party worked deeper in the facility, they discovered more disturbing evidence. Log entries Lieutenant Rogers reported accessing a Vesperian terminal. Their plan spans decades they deliberately engineered. Conflicts between our species collecting genetic samples from battlefields. They need our combined strengths to create their perfect soldiers, Draxian physical power with human adaptability. How many more facilities like this exist? Mara wondered. According to this data, at least 12 located throughout the neutral zone. Zorak answered. Suddenly alarms blared through the facility. We've been detected. Rogers called weapons fire echoing through the communication channel. Get out of there. Rosalie ordered emergency extraction. The landing party fought their way back toward the entrance. Vesperian security forces closing in from multiple directions. Charges set. Zorak reported between bursts of weapons fire detonation in 3 minutes. Transporters locked on Mara. Confirmed energizing. The team materialized on the transport pad. Many injured, but all alive. The ship's sensors detected multiple Vesperian vessels emerging from hidden bases on the moon. Get us out of here, Rosalie ordered as the facility exploded below them. The Twilight Hunter accelerated away from the moon. Pursued by 3 Vesperian attack ships, shields at maximum. Mara called as enemy weapons fire struck their hull. Can't outrun them, Lieutenant Rogers warned. They're faster than us. Then we fight. Rosalie decided target the lead vessel. The battle was brief but intense. The Twilight Hunter's mixed crew working in perfect coordination. Human tactical thinking complementing Draxian weapon expertise. The first Vesperian ship exploded under concentrated fire. The second damaged severely enough to fall back. The third, however, managed to land a critical hit engine. Core destabilizing, the Draxian engineer reported. Divert all power. Mara ordered her mechanical arm interfacing directly with ship systems, buying them precious seconds. Rosalie opened a channel to Draxian command base. Get us an extraction team and alert my superiors. We have critical intelligence. As the Twilight Hunter limped toward the nearest friendly base, Mara and Rosalie reviewed the data retrieved from the facility. They have been planning this for generations, Mara said, scrolling through. The Vesperian logs. The wars between our peoples were never about territory or resources. They were about genetic sampling, creating the perfect army. And now that they've gathered enough data, Rosalie continued, they plan to launch their final phase, the hybrid army. When the Twilight Hunter docked at the joint human Draxian outpost station Horizon, the crew was met by a mixed honor guard. Queen Kalara herself had arrived to receive their report alongside Admiral Hartwell. My daughter Kalara embraced. Mara, her relief evident. What you have discovered changes everything. In the station's conference room, the evidence was presented. The horrifying truth of Vesperian manipulation laid bare. They have played a long game, Admiral Hartwell said, studying the retrieved data, pitting us against each other while harvesting what they needed from both species. And now they prepare their final move. Queen Kalara added, according to the intelligence we've gathered. Rosalie explained they plan to launch simultaneous strikes against key worlds in both our territories within the next 60 days. Can we trust this intelligence? General Zarax questioned, still skeptical despite the alliance. The data is consistent with Vesperian operational patterns, Admiral Hartwell replied, and matches movements our long-range scouts have detected. Mara stepped forward, placing a data crystal in the center of the table. This contains locations of all 12 hybrid facilities. If we strike them simultaneously, we could cripple their war effort before it begins. A bold plan, Admiral Hartwell observed, but it would require perfect coordination between our forces. Queen Kalara studied the tactical display. Our fleets have never fought together. We have different strategies, different protocols, different strengths, Rosalie added. Which is precisely why this could work. The Vesperians expect us to remain divided even with our new alliance. They don't expect a truly integrated response. A joint strike force, Mara suggested, the best of both our military traditions. Admiral Hartwell nodded to Queen Kalara. It could work, Empress, but only with your full support. Kalara considered the human admiral, seeing not an enemy but a potential ally against a greater threat. Begin preparations, she decided. We have little time. As the meeting concluded, Mara found Rosalie standing alone by the station's viewport, staring out at the stars. What are you thinking? Mara asked, joining her friend. Rosalie smiled slightly. That 2 months ago I was planning Missions against Draxian outposts, and now I'm helping plan joint operations. It's a strange universe. Mara touched Rosalie's shoulder with her natural hand. My mother has a saying. Fate weaves patterns too complex for us to see until we stand at a distance. The human nodded. I just hope we have enough time to prepare our people. Centuries of hatred don't disappear overnight. Mara looked out at the stars, her crest brightening with determination. Then we must give them reason to set aside that hatred. A common purpose, a shared victory. Rosalie turned to face the Draxian princess. When this is over, what happens to our alliance? That, Mara said, is perhaps the most important question of all. Now for part 4. The Joint Command Center hummed with activity, Draxian and human officers working side by side, planning the simultaneous strikes against the Vesperian hybrid facilities. Maps and tactical displays covered every wall, showing the 12 targets spread across the neutral zone. Admiral Hartwell stood with Queen Kalara reviewing the final assault plans. The two leaders had developed an uneasy respect over the past weeks, each recognizing the other's tactical expertise. Strike teams have been assembled. Empress Admiral Hartwell reported, each with mixed human and Draxian personnel. As you requested, the integration has been challenging, but effective. Kalara nodded, watching as a Draxian tactical officer demonstrated combat techniques to a group of human special forces, each learning from the other's strengths. Commander Meadows and Princess Mara have proven the value of such cooperation. Across the chamber, Mara and Rosalie led a briefing for the commanders of the 12 strike teams. Team 7 will face the heaviest defenses. Mara explained, her mechanical arm projecting detailed schematics of the largest facility. This installation appears to be their primary research center. Rosalie highlighted key entry points. Our intelligence suggests they have accelerated their timeline. We must strike within the next 48 hours before they can move their subjects. And research, Commander Liz Foster, a veteran human officer, raised her hand. What about the test subjects held in these facilities? Some are our people. Some are Draxiana. Difficult question, Mara acknowledged. We hope to rescue as many as possible, but our primary objective must be destroying the Vesperian research and production capabilities. Some may be too far gone. Rosalie added, the modifications too extensive. We will make every effort to recover all captives, but be prepared for difficult decisions. As the briefing concluded, Queen Kalara summoned Mara to her private chambers. You will lead the assault on the primary facility, she told her daughter. Mara bowed, her crest lowering in respect. I am honored, Mother, but Commander Meadows has more experience with joint operations. Perhaps it must be you. Kalara interrupted. Our warriors need to see Draxian royalty fighting alongside humans. It will inspire them to overcome generations of hatred. Understanding dawned on Mara. This was about more than military strategy. It was about reshaping the future of both species. And Commander Meadows, Mara asked. She will accompany you, Kalara said. You two have proven to be an effective team leader. Mara found Rosalie in the armory preparing equipment for the mission. My mother has assigned us to lead the assault on the primary facility, Mara announced. Rosalie nodded, checking the charge on her plasma rifle. Your mother is wise. She knows what this symbolizes. Mara helped Rosalie adjust her modified Draxian armor. The human had insisted on wearing it despite its weight, claiming it offered better protection. You realize this mission may be one way, Rosalie said quietly. The Vesperian defenses will be substantial. Mara clicked softly, a Draxian laugh. All our missions could have been one way, Rosalie. Yet here we stand. The humans smiled. True enough. We seem to have a habit of surviving impossible situations. As final preparations were made, Queen Kalara addressed the assembled strike force, her imposing presence commanding respect from both Draxian and human soldiers. For generations our peoples have fought as enemies, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. Today we fight as one. The Vesperians believed they could use our hatred to serve their purposes. They were wrong. Admiral Hartwell stepped forward, standing beside the Draxian queen. They underestimated both our species. They thought we could not overcome our differences, that we would continue to destroy each other. While they harvested what they needed from the wreckage, today we proved them wrong. Kalara continued. You carry with you not only the hopes of your own species, but the promise of a new future. One where Draxians and humans stand together against those who would threaten either of us. Remember, Admiral Hartwell added, every hybrid facility we destroy pushes back their timeline. Every piece of research we capture brings us closer to understanding their plans. Failure is not an option. The 12 strike vessels departed in perfect formation, each carrying a mixed crew of humans and Draxians united in purpose. Aboard the Shadow Striker, Mara and Rosalie prepared their team for the assault on the primary facility. Final approach in 5 minutes, the pilot announced. Mara checked her weapons one last time. Her mechanical arm calibrated for combat, her natural hands gripping her ancestral blades. Nervous? Rosalie asked. Securing her helmet, Mara shifted her scales, fluttering in the Draxian equivalent of a shrug. We are about to assault the most heavily defended Vesperian facility with a team of species who were enemies mere weeks ago. What could possibly go wrong? Rosalie laughed. The sound strange through her helmet's filter when you put it that way. The Shadow Striker entered the atmosphere of the small moon designated Target Alpha, its stealth systems masking their approach from Vesperian sensors. Ground defenses offline, Lieutenant Rogers reported, we've successfully implemented the Vesperian codes obtained from the previous facility. Maintain radio silence, Rosalie ordered as the ship touched down in a narrow canyon 1 kilometer from the target. The strike team deployed, moving swiftly across the rocky terrain toward the hidden entrance. Mara took point. Her enhanced senses scanning for threats, Rosalie coordinated the team, their movements practiced and precise despite their differences. First obstacle ahead, Mara signaled, spotting the perimeter sensors. Rogers moved forward, using the captured Vesperian technology to create a gap in the security grid. We have 30 seconds, he whispered. The team slipped through, reaching the main entrance without detection. Chief Zorak placed breaching charges on the reinforced doors. Ready on your mark, Princess. Mara looked to Rosalie, who nodded. Breach. The explosion was controlled and precise, the doors blowing inward. The strike team flowing through in practiced formation, splitting into predetermined groups. Mara, Rosalie, and 4 others headed for the central research lab, while Zorak led another team toward the power core. First resistance came quickly. Vesperian guards appearing from side corridors, their weapons firing. Take cover. Rosalie called, returning fire, her modified Draxian weapon, cutting through the enemy's armor. Mara moved with incredible speed, her mechanical arm deflecting energy blasts while her natural hands wielded her blades. The team pushed forward, casualties on both sides, but the element of surprise giving them the advantage. The central lab doors were sealed. Emergency protocols engaged. I can override this, Rogers said, kneeling beside the control panel. But it'll take time. No time. Mara replied, her mechanical arm transforming, reconfiguring into a cutting tool stand. Back, the reinforced door yielded to the combined technologies of Vesperian design, human engineering and Draxian strength. The scene inside froze them all momentarily. Hundreds of stasis chambers filled with hybrid subjects in various stages of development. Vesperian scientists scrambling to destroy evidence, secure the data. Rosalie ordered, recover what subjects we can. The battle for the lab was chaotic. Vesperian security forces pouring in from adjacent sections, the strike team holding their position. As Rogers downloaded critical research data. Command, we've reached the central lab, Mara reported between bursts of weapons fire. Heavy resistance, but we're holding. Suddenly alarms blared throughout the facility. Self-destruct sequence initiated, a computerized, voice-announced countdown initiated, 15 minutes to complete facility purge. They mean to destroy everything. Rosalie realized, including the evidence of what they've done. Zorak's voice came over the comm. Princess, we've secured the power core, but can't abort the self-destruct sequence. It's on an isolated system. Can you delay it? Mara asked. Perhaps by 5 minutes, no more. Rogers looked up from the computer terminal. I've downloaded approximately 60% of their research data. Not enough, Rosalie said. We need it all. Mara made a quick decision. You 3 get Rogers and the data back to the ship. Chief Zorak, begin evacuating your team, Commander Meadows, and I will complete the download. But Princess, one of the Draxian warriors protested. That is an order, Mara said, her crest flaring. Go now, as the others retreated. Mara and Rosalie fought to hold the lab, Rosalie providing cover fire while Mara interfaced directly with the Vesperian system, her mechanical arm bypassing security protocols. Download. At 80%, Mara reported enemy reinforcements approaching from Section 3. Rosalie took position at the doorway. Her ammunition running low. Will hold them as long as I can. The countdown continued, marking the passing minutes with emotionless precision. 5 minutes to complete facility purge. Download complete, Mara called, disconnecting from the terminal. Time to go, Rosalie said, backing toward her, both of them, knowing their chances of reaching the extraction point were slim. Suddenly, the lights flickered throughout the facility. What was that, Mara wondered. A new voice came over their comm. This is Lieutenant Melanie Stone from the Earthship Valkyrie. We've detected your situation and are providing assistance. Standby for emergency extraction transporter. Technology. Rosalie realized we were testing a new system. Coordinates locked. The voice continued, stand close together. Mara grabbed Rosalie's arm, pulling her close as energy surrounded them. The lab dissolving from view, replaced by the transporter. Room of a human vessel. Human officer stepped forward. Welcome aboard the Valkyrie, Commander Meadows. Princess Mara. Captain Taylor sends her compliments and apologizes for cutting it close. The extraction craft, Rosalie asked her team, safely recovered. Captain, the officer reported, along with all survivors from the facility. Mara looked at the chronometer. 2 minutes to spare. She said, her crest rising with relief. Throughout the neutral zone, similar scenes played out, the joint strike teams hitting all 12 facilities simultaneously, destroying research, capturing data, rescuing captives, both human and Draxian where possible. Aboard the command vessel, Queen Kalara and Admiral Hartwell received reports from each team, 11 confirmed successes. Kalara announced her relief evident. One facility self-destructed completely before the team could extract, but no casualties on our side. A significant victory, Admiral Hartwell agreed. But this is only the beginning. The Vesperians will retaliate. Kalara nodded, studying the tactical display. They have lost their research, their hybrid soldiers, but they still possess significant military strength. Then we must be ready. The Admiral said, the alliance has proven effective today, but the real test lies ahead as the strike teams return to base. Mara and Rosalie delivered the captured data to the joint intelligence team. This will take weeks to analyze fully, the intelligence officer said. But preliminary review confirms our worst fears. The Vesperians plan to launch their hybrid army within the month. We have pushed back their timeline, Mara said. But for how long? Rosalie studied the star chart showing Vesperian fleet movements. They're regrouping but not retreating. This war is just beginning. Mara touched her friend's shoulder with her natural hand. Then we face it together, finally. Part 5.1 Lunar Cycle. After the successful strikes against the hybrid facilities, Queen Kalara stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Alliance flagship Harmony, a massive vessel, combining the best of Draxian and human technology. The vast expanse of space stretched before her through the crystal viewport, stars glittering against the darkness. Empress, a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. Enter Commander Meadows. Kalara turned to face the human officer who had become such an integral part of this unlikely alliance. The combined fleet is assembled and awaits your inspection, Rosalie reported, standing tall in her formal uniform, now bearing both human and Draxian insignia. Kalara nodded. The intelligence we gathered from the hybrid facilities has proven invaluable. The Vesperian battle plans, their weaknesses, their true numbers, beyond expectation, Rosalie agreed. The joint science teams have already developed countermeasures against their primary weapon systems. A chime sounded, indicating another visitor. Admiral Hartwell requests permission to join you, Empress. Admit her, Kalara ordered. The human admiral entered the observation deck, her uniform crisp, her bearing confident. Though Kalara had learned to recognize the signs of fatigue in human features, the dark circles beneath her eyes, the tightness around her mouth. This war was taking its toll on all of them. Empress Hartwell bowed slightly in the Draxian manner, the practice now common among human officers. The Vesperian fleet has been detected moving toward the Tantus system as predicted. Tantus. Kalara frowned. Our most valuable mining colony, and within striking distance of New Terra, our largest agricultural world, Rosalie added. They seek to cripple both our resource chains simultaneously. The attack plan is prepared, Admiral Hartwell continued. The combined fleet will move to intercept, while strike teams secure both Tantus and New Terra against potential ground forces. Kalara studied the tactical display. Our first true test as a united force indeed, Empress. The Admiral agreed. Our training exercises have shown promise, but actual combat will reveal how well our peoples can truly fight as one. Later in The ship's Grand Council chamber representatives from both species gathered to finalize the battle plan. Princess Mara took her place at the command table, her mechanical arm interfacing with the ship's systems projecting the tactical display. The Vesperian fleet consists of 86 vessels. Mara reported primarily heavy cruisers and carriers. Their ground forces number approximately 30,000. We face superior numbers. General Zarax acknowledged, but not superior technology or tactics. The intelligence recovered from their facilities revealed critical weaknesses in their shield harmonics. Lieutenant Rogers highlighted specific sections of the enemy vessels. Here and here, their shield systems cannot maintain integrity against simultaneous plasma and quantum strikes, a combination they never anticipated, because it requires both Draxian and human weapons technologies fired in precise sequence. An elegant solution, Captain Diane Taylor of the human flagship Valkyrie observed, but it requires perfect coordination between our vessels, which is why we have developed the new linked targeting systems. Mara explained, her mechanical hand waving through the holographic display. Our gunners will train together in matched pairs. One Draxian, one human, their systems synchronized. Kalara watched the proceedings with pride. Her daughter had emerged as a natural leader in this new alliance. Her unique perspective as both victim and survivor of Vesperian experiments giving her insights no one else possessed. The council session concluded. With final assignments, the combined fleet would depart within hours. 600 vessels, Draxian and human, prepared to meet the Vesperian threat as the representatives filed out. Kalara approached Admiral Hartwell. Word Admiral, of course Empress. They moved to a private alcove away from the others. You have concerns, Kalara observed. Hartwell nodded, slight hesitation, betraying her discomfort. Not about the battle plan, Empress, but about what follows. We have focused entirely on defeating the Vesperians as we must, Kalara said. Yes, but Hartwell continued, victory or defeat, what becomes of our alliance afterward? Centuries of hatred are not easily forgotten. Many on both sides view this as a temporary necessity. Kalara considered the Admiral's words wisdom. In moments of crisis is rare, Admiral. I had similar thoughts centuries ago. Kalara continued, the Vesperians approached us as friends offering technology knowledge. Alliance only later did we discover their true intentions. By then it was too late. They had embedded themselves in our society. You fear the same could happen between our peoples, Kalara gestured toward the viewport where ships of both species maneuvered in formation. Draxian and human vessels, once bitter enemies, now flying in perfect coordination. Fear uncertainty, Admiral. But I've seen something unexpected in this alliance, something that transcends mere military necessity. Understanding dawned in the Admiral's eyes. You speak of Commander Meadows and Princess Mara, and countless others. Kalara nodded, Draxian engineers working alongside human scientists, warriors of both species, training together, sharing techniques, respecting differences, acknowledging strengths. Where once they saw only enemies, they now see allies, perhaps even friends. The future remains unwritten, impresses it should, Kalara agreed, but we can shape its direction. I propose that regardless of this war's outcome, we formalize our alliance beyond military necessity. Trade, cultural exchange, scientific cooperation. Bold proposal, bold times require bold measures, Admiral. The Vesperians underestimated both our species. They believed hatred would forever blind us. They were wrong aboard the Alliance flagship Harmony. The combined fleet prepared for departure to the Tantus system. Mara found Rosalie in the ship's armory checking her equipment. Ready for this, Rosalie asked, securing her modified Draxian armor. Mara clicked softly, her version of laughter. After everything we've faced, this seems almost routine. Rosalie smiled, the strange human expression that Mara had come to appreciate. This is different, though. Our first major fleet action together. Mara nodded, her crest rising with determination. The Vesperians never expected this. They believed their manipulation would keep us divided forever. They underestimated human adaptability. Rosalie said, and Draxian honor, Mara added. Queen Kalara addressed the combined fleet. Her image transmitted to every vessel. Today we face an enemy who believed they could use us, destroy us, harvest what they needed while we fought among ourselves. The Vesperians have manipulated both our species for generations, creating conflicts to serve their purposes. Admiral Hartwell's image, appeared alongside Kalara's, they thought we could never overcome our differences, never see beyond centuries of hatred, never recognize that together we are stronger than apart together. Kalara continued. Human and Draxian united against a common threat. We will show the Vesperians the true strength of our alliance. The harmony led the fleet into formation ships accelerating toward the Tantus system, toward a battle that would determine the fate of two species. Queen Kalara returned to the observation deck, watching as stars streaked past her fore, hands clasped behind her back, her tail sweeping slowly across the polished floor. Impressive, ain't it? A voice said. Kalara turned to find Rosalie standing nearby, gazing out at the passing stars. Indeed, Commander. The Queen agreed. Rosalie stepped closer, standing beside the towering Draxian Queen. When I was assigned to that reconnaissance mission at the edge of Draxian territory, I never imagined it would lead to this. Fate weaves patterns too complex for us to see until we stand at the proper distance. Kalara quoted an ancient Draxian saying. Rosalie smiled. I believe Princess Mara shared that wisdom with me once. She is her mother's daughter. Kalara said with pride, though she has grown beyond my teachings in many ways. Her vision of cooperation between our people seemed impossible mere months ago. The human nodded. Yet here we stand. Kalara studied the small human female who had saved her daughter, who had helped forge this unlikely alliance, who had shown courage and honor qualities the Draxians had never associated with humans. My daughter believes this alliance can last beyond the current conflict. Kalara said, your thoughts, Commander. Rosalie considered the question carefully. We have much to learn from each other. Empress Draxian resilience, human adaptability, your technology, our innovation together. We could accomplish remarkable things if we can overcome centuries of hatred built on lies. Rosalie pointed out, manipulated by the Vesperians. What might have happened had our species met under different circumstances? An interesting question, Kalara acknowledged. Perhaps we have been given a second chance to discover the answer. The ship alert sounded, indicating their approach to the Tantus system. It appears we have arrived, Commander. Kalara sighed. Rosalie straightened her posture, her expression growing serious. Then let us show the Vesperians what happens when they underestimate both our species' impresses. Kalara took her place on the command deck, Mara at her side. The Vesperian fleet appeared on the long-range sensors, a massive armada moving toward Tantus with clear purpose. Alert status 1. Mara ordered all vessels to battle formation. Throughout the combined fleet, Draxian and human crews moved with practiced precision. Weapons charged, shields raised, fighters prepared for launch. This is it, Rosalie said, taking her position at the tactical station. The moment we prove whether this alliance truly works. Kalara's crest rose with determination. Signal all vessels begin. The attack across the void of space. The combined fleet surged forward, Draxian and human vessels moving as one against their common enemy. The harmony at their center leading the charge. Queen Kalara watched as the first shots were fired, brilliant, energy streaking between the opposing forces. She thought of all that had brought them to this moment, her daughter's presumed death, the unexpected arrival of a human savior, the discovery of Vesperian manipulation. Whatever the outcome of this battle, Kalara knew with certainty the universe had changed forever. Two species, once bitter enemies, now stood together against a common threat. The Vesperians had sought to keep them divided, fighting among themselves, never realizing that in their manipulation, they had created the very thing they feared most, a unified force greater than the sum of its parts, human and Draxian together as the battle unfolded around them. Kalara glanced at her daughter and the human commander working side by side in perfect coordination, their differences complementing rather than dividing them. Perhaps Mara was right. Perhaps this alliance could last beyond the current conflict. Perhaps this was just the beginning.